news after Tamil Nadu governor dismissed a minister in Chief Minister M.K. Stalin's government. He seemed forced to retreat. Issuing a letter late last night, Governor R.N. Ravi said that on the advice of Union Home Minister Amit Shah, he had kept his decision to dismiss Senthil Balaji in abeyance. While that means the governor has not completely withdrawn his controversial decision, it does mean he has had to backtrack. The move has given a win for now to the DMK that forms the government in Tamil Nadu, but the political war continues. Chief Minister M.K. Stalin wrote a scathing letter to the governor today, making it clear his actions were a constitutional overreach. I'm reading out some excerpts from that letter where Stalin says, and I'm quoting, "Your letters require an outright disregard." He goes on to say the letter was a not-so-veiled threat. He points out that the Home Minister's intervention needed shows you acted in haste. What he's referring to is the governor saying that on the advice of Home Minister Amit Shah, he's decided to keep his decision in abeyance. Stalin goes on to say, "You have no power to dismiss my ministers." He also says, "I have always been pleasant, courteous and respectful towards you, but that does not mean we have to abide by unconstitutional directives by you." But this is just a latest in the series of letter wars that have been exchanged over the last few days between the governor and the chief minister. While they've been at loggerheads for a while over a number of issues, the latest flare-up began on the 14th of June when Senthil Balaji, a minister in the Stalin government, was arrested by the Enforcement Directorate in an alleged cash for jobs scam. On the 16th, a couple of days later, the Stalin government issued an order to retain Balaji as minister. So his portfolio was removed, but he was retained as minister. He continues to be minister without portfolio even today. The governor accepts this change, but does mention that he disagrees with Balaji continuing as minister. And he says this in a statement he issues on that day. He says that a minister facing criminal proceedings should be removed. By the 29th of June, and that's when the events really escalate, that's yesterday, the governor writes a 5-page letter to Stalin justifying his decision to sack Balaji. That's soon after he's made that decision public. The governor says he's dismayed that Stalin refused to remove Balaji from the post and claims that Stalin used intemperate language. He also claims that Stalin accused him of overstepping constitutional limits when he hadn't. Soon after, a release is issued by the governor's office which says that he's sacked this minister because of corruption cases against him, and he's worried that he could really impact the probe if he is allowed to stay on as minister. Soon after, Chief Minister Stalin responds. He says the governor doesn't have any legal right to do this. He will challenge this legally. By 11:45 last night, so a mere 4.5 hours after the governor first sacks the minister, he takes it back. He says Balaji's dismissal order will be kept in abeyance. The decision is put on hold till further notice. The governor says he was advised by the Minister of Home Affairs, that's Amit Shah, to seek the opinion of the Attorney General. And today, of course, the Chief Minister writes this scathing letter to him. So while for now the DMK has got this sort of win, their minister stays. The governor has not sacked him. The question is, can he take this forward legally after the advice that he is seeking, and have the boundaries of the governor's role now been pushed to a new extent? To speak more on this, I'm joined first by Vikaraman Singh, former ASG and senior advocate in the Supreme Court. Mr. Singh, thank you so much for joining us this evening on Beyond the Headline. The straight and simple question: the governor has kept his decision in abeyance, saying that he will seek advice from the Attorney General. Is there any way that the advice that he gets will say, yes, you can go ahead and dismiss a minister without the chief minister's nod?
Well, it's a little strange that the governor acts first and takes advice later. I mean, it's something which is, totally unacceptable. And that's why I've always said that these positions of governor should be, completely apolitical and somebody, who understands the constitution, because the governor has no right whatsoever to sack a minister. So there are certain discretionary powers vested under the constitution with the governor, but this is definitely not one of them. And he has to act by the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers. And I'll tell you that of the Chief Minister, I'll tell you that this issue was considered by the Supreme Court in a Constitution bench judgment, where a question arose as to whether a charge-sheeted person could be debarred from becoming a minister. And the Supreme Court, although felt that it is not desirable, but said that no, it's not for the court to decide, and it is for the parliament to bring in a law on the subject and debar somebody who's charge sheeted. But till the law is not there, debarring somebody who's charge sheeted, there is no way that somebody can be, restrained. And you have to also understand today, in today's scenario where there are, allegations of political vendetta, etc. And a lot of times, if there are opposing political parties in the center and the state, there is a likelihood of, a case being, trumped up. And if that happens, you can just imagine how disastrous the consequences would be. So I feel that the governor should have taken the advice first if he felt that he wanted to act, rather than asking for an advice later after having taken a decision sacking a particular minister.
So is it safe to assume, Mr. Singh, that this matter then ends here? Even though the governor has not withdrawn his order, he has put it in abeyance. What does that mean? Does that mean this can be revisited, or does it for all practical purposes mean the governor has backtracked on this?
So I know, so the only way he can again revisit this issue is obviously if he gets an advice in favor, of giving him the powers to do it. And I don't think the Attorney General will act so politically to give an advice of this kind. So if he doesn't get an advice of this kind, obviously this matter is closed. And according to me, the law is very clear. The constitutional scheme is very clear. There is no way that the Attorney General can give a proper advice, giving the right to the governor or advising the governor that he has the right to dismiss a minister, even though the chief minister has confidence in him and still wants to continue him in the Council of Ministers. It's a different matter that propriety has always, in this country been followed for, I think, for about 20 years, that whenever somebody has got arrested, not charged, at least when he's got arrested, he's resigned himself. But that's, of course, of propriety, or, that's not something which can be legally enforced. If he himself voluntarily decides to resign, that's a different matter altogether. But if he wants to continue, legally, there is no way that the governor can sack him.
So,
Thank you.
Right. May I ask you one more question, Mr. Singh? And you talked about propriety, and that's really the other side of the story. On one side, there is an allegation that the governor is acting politically. That's what the ruling DMK is saying. And then there is the allegation that the DMK is just not willing to get this minister to step down. He's in judicial custody. They should have sacked him pending an inquiry and pending him getting a clean sheet if he is indeed innocent.
Yeah,
Doesn't that really make for a very unsettling sort of political landscape?
I agree with you that way. And I personally feel that the chief minister should have himself asked him to step down or taken a resignation from him. And that's what has been happening in this country, almost for the last 20 years. But, you also can't rule out false cases being, so it's only a question of moral propriety. If the minister feels that case which is set up against him is completely bogus, he may feel that there is no right morally for him to resign. But that's a very, very individual matter, and that is not something which can be, legally justified or can be said to be legally justiciable. It's an internal conscience of the chief minister and of the particular minister to take a call, a larger call, that simply because he's arrested or he's charge sheeted, he should resign. But that does not absolve the the decision which the governor has taken, that he's justified in taking that call on his behalf. So that's where the lines are drawn. The lines are very clear. The boundaries are very clear. The governor can't do this. The minister may do it on his own, the chief minister may do it on his own, but the governor can't do it. That's where the boundaries, in the constitution.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Vikas Singh, for joining us on the show and giving us that expert legal opinion as we keep tracking the story. Meanwhile, the story has also taken a political turn with the DMK and the Congress, which is an ally in the state of Tamil Nadu, demanding that the governor be recalled. They now want the governor to be sacked. Is this just going to increase the bitterness of the political battle in the state? Vinoj Selvam, spokesperson of the BJP, is with me on the show. Kovai Sathyan, spokesperson of the AIA-DMK, is with us today. I'm speaking with Mr. Gandhi P, spokesperson of the DMK as well. Welcome to all of you, and thank you so much for speaking with us on the show. Mr. Gandhi P, spokesperson of the DMK, let me begin with your take. So, even though the governor has backtracked right now, what do you make of the comments that Senthil Balaji should have been sacked the day there were such serious allegations against him?
See, first of all, we have to understand one thing. Ever since R.N. Ravi has taken over charge as the governor of Tamil Nadu, there is always an issue between the government and the governor because of the high-handedness of the governor. This particular issue has to be taken into two steps or two stages. One is what has happened till yesterday, and the second stage is what has happened yesterday. As far as what has happened till yesterday is concerned, the governor has used Raj Bhavan for anti-state activities. He is always withholding the assent for the bills. He's even returning the bills passed by the state assembly. And even he is advising the civil service trainees to side with the center in case of a dispute between the state and the center, which a governor cannot speak because a governor cannot foresee a dispute between the center and the state, and he cannot just try to mobilize the civil servants against the state. This is nothing but an anti-state activity. But all these things we can put it in the bucket saying that these are all constitutional deviations, and these constitutional deviations can be taken over by the state government in a political fight or a legal fight against the governor. But what has happened yesterday is much more than that. It is a constitutional aberration. The governor, who does not have a power to sack any minister, after his dinner issuing a letter that the minister is sacked, before the breakfast he is revoking that letter. So any reasonable man with the kind of knowledge or with the kind of constitutional literacy will not do it, because such a person should not be a governor, because governor's position is a responsible position. And more specifically, it appears that he hasn't informed even his masters in Delhi. And on the advice of the Union Home Minister, he has withdrawn this letter. So,
question, Mr. Gandhi, which I asked you several minutes ago. That does not answer my question that I asked you several minutes ago. And I have not interrupted you because this is your opening comment, but I asked you a question several minutes ago. I saw the Chief Minister's letter, and yes, he has said that you had no right to do this. And I agree that there has been an ongoing fight. But what about Mr. Senthil Balaji? If there is a serious allegation against him, in the interest of moral propriety, shouldn't he have been asked to step down pending the completion of inquiry?
No, it cannot be. For the simple reason, Senthil Balaji is only facing an FIR. If we allow if we take such a precedent of asking a minister to step down in case of an FIR, tomorrow ED can file an FIR against any minister or even the chief minister. And so we will be at the mercy of the ED, which is controlled by the union government. So union government will be exerting pressure indirectly or directly through the EDs. So we cannot agree for that. As far as Senthil Balaji is concerned,
it's not about Senthil Balaji's innocence or guilt. It's about setting a political precedent. It's about giving way. Let me come now to the BJP spokesperson, Mr. Vinoj Selvam. This is essentially the governor beating a hasty retreat. Mr. Selvam, this does not play out well in any sense.
See, I'm here, as you rightly introduced me, I'm here as the BJP spokesperson and not the spokesperson of the Raj Bhavan. But let me remind the DMK spokesperson one small fact. There is a vast difference between any case being foisted anywhere against corrupt allegations and the one done against Senthil Balaji. Senthil Balaji is a man who went to the High Court of Madras and gave a petition. He filed a petition in the court saying, yes, I did take money to give jobs to people, the two government jobs in the transport department to which he was a minister of. Yes, I did take money, but now I returned the money. Now, since I returned the money I took as a bribe, I'm clean. I'm not a corrupt man. So that was the stand which he was taken in the High Court. And the Supreme Court came down very heavily on him. And only after that, it was a Supreme Court-based inquiry. Supreme Court ordered a fair inquiry should be conducted into the allegations against this man. And they are very strong allegations. Let's not forget that. So instead of trying to safeguard this person, this extremely corrupt man, 37 ministers, all the ministers of the DMK cabinet, not once have they come out at 1 a.m. in the night for the cause of the people. But all of them went and sat outside the hospital when he was arrested. What are you all scared of? What are you afraid of? In 2016, it was your own chief minister, it was your own leader, the chief minister of Tamil Nadu, who went down very heavily on the same person, called him corrupt. Now, just because he joined your party has all his sins been washed off. Who are you trying to protect? Who are you trying to save?
But,
so apart from what the governor has done, not debating
Selvam,
whether what he has
Mr.
done is
Selvam,
right
but you know something, it is about what the governor has done at the end of the day.
And Senthil Balaji haven't admitted anywhere that he has taken a bribe.
Madam, as I rightfully told you, I told you already.
A compromise memo is signed between the
I
parties.
know, Mr. Vinoj Selvam. 1 minute. I need to clarify something. 1 minute, I need to clarify something. 1 minute, Mr. Selvam, just 1 minute. I need to clarify something. You said rightly that you're a spokesperson of the BJP, not that of Raj Bhavan. I introduced you as the spokesperson of the BJP, but there is a reason why I'm asking you about the actions of the governor. 24 hours ago, I did the same topic yesterday when the story was breaking. I have been seeing what the comments have been coming from the BJP spokespersons in the state on this, and they have all been backing the governor. Which is why today I'm asking you what your position is. And you are right. You do not speak for the Raj Bhavan.
Ma'am,
I've spoken to a constitutional expert on that.
But
your party has been backing what he did.
Of the state, let me explain. Let me answer you. In the interest of the state, we do stand by the decision of the governor. This man should be sacked. He should face the law as a common man, not a minister. If he is so corrupt, and it has been proven, if he has agreed to being a corrupt man, why are you safeguarding him? Why do you want to protect this man? Let him face the law as a common man. And let him
so I'm glad you've clarified that you are. 1 minute. I'm glad you have clarified. 1 minute. I'm glad you have clarified, because we should at the very least be true to what our position is. I'm glad you have clarified that you do not speak for the Raj Bhavan, but you back the governor's actions. Now I want to ask you, once that this is clear, that if his actions were correct, why did he backtrack? If he had to take advice of the Home Minister and of the Attorney General, why did he send a letter before that?
I reserve my comments. I reserve my comments on whether what the governor does right or wrong. It is not in my position to decide what it does right or wrong. In 2018, this very same chief minister, when he was opposition leader, he had written to the same governor, to the same office of the governor, saying that the minister Vijay Bhaskar, on whom an allegation in the Gutka case had come up, should be made to resign. He said you should dismiss the government of Edappadi Palaniswamy. He said that you should dismiss the deputy chief minister back then. It was the same.
I want to come to Mr. Kovai Sathyan. 1 minute. Mr. Gandhi, I'll come to you. I want to come to Kovai Sathyan. I want to come to Mr. Kovai Sathyan. You know, this is interesting because the allegations against Mr. Senthil Balaji is between 2011 and 2016. When he was transport minister. Sir, in a government run by your party.
Yes.
What is your position today?
Even in 2015, when the allegation came out, he was stripped of his ministerial berth, unlike the present government trying to go all out to protect him and themselves. And 2016, he goes to the court and takes a no objection certificate to contest in the elections. It was our leader, Edappadi, in 2017, initiated the proceedings against Senthil Balaji. So we acted as per the books of law, and we stood by the common man who is aggrieved by his corrupt practices. Now, by and large, everybody knows governor doesn't have the power to dismiss a minister. But what led to this judicial fiasco? It is a failure and incompetence of Mr. M.K. Stalin. 1 month ago, governor sends a note that Senthil Balaji cannot continue as a minister on moral turpitude, citing the various observations of Supreme Court, how he has misused his position as a minister, arm twisting the accused. There were no response. When the ED comes and arrests Senthil Balaji, the note and reply from M.K. Stalin goes to the governor, hiding the arrest, stating that he will continue as a minister, but the cabinet will be shared with other 2 people. when the governor questions back again on his stand, on his advice, there were no response from the MK Stalin. Having taken a vote, he will go by the constitution, he will abide by the laws. When the chief minister of a state fails to protect and act accordingly, that's where the governor steps into his role. And that's why this judicial stalemate is happening. And governor from their side will quote many incidences and many precedent earlier. That's what governor also stated. He had gone by the article 154, 63 and 64. Now it has
No,
gone.
so 1 minute. I'm not
They will
understanding
fight it
what is your position,
But this
Mr.
is an
Sathyan.
embarrassment
Are you saying what the governor did was correct or not?
No, I am saying it is an embarrassment to Tamil Nadu government because of the incompetence of
It is
the
not an
ruler.
embarrassment to Tamil Nadu government. It is an
It
embarrassment to the governor.
embarrassment. No, you can call whatever you want to, but it is your incompetence. You
Because
CM
if it
failed
is
to
not
act
an
on
embarrassment,
time.
why should we backtrack? Why should we take back the letter?
I
1
didn't
minute. Let me
interfere.
understand. Let me understand
Mr.
his
Gandhi.
position. 1 minute, sir.
Mr. Gandhi,
What
I didn't
you are
interfere,
saying?
but
You started by saying 1 minute, Mr. Sathyan. You started by saying that you agree that the governor should not have done this. The governor is
he
not
doesn't
allowed
have
to do
powers.
this.
He doesn't have powers.
Yeah.
Governor doesn't have powers. But what led to this scenario? It's a 30-day drama of communication between governor and the CM. And CM having failed to discharge his duties, getting repeated advices and intimations from the governor, now he has taken the role and he has taken a call to dismiss him. Now it has gone to the judiciary. It is the biggest embarrassment. And this
It has
government,
not gone
this
to the
is like this.
judiciary. He has put it in
It has
abeyance
gone.
himself. It would have gone to the
Like it-
judiciary had
it-
Mr. Stalin challenged it in court. Before that, he has said, I'm putting it in abeyance. I will be taking advice.
Advices
Okay,
he will
Mr.
step back
Vikraman,
if he
Mr.
stands in
Vikraman has
judiciary.
joined us from the
Can
VCK.
I
Let
sum
me
it
get
up?
his point of view on this.
Can I sum it up?
Yeah, yes, Mr. Vikraman.
Yeah. My beloved friend Mr. Kovai Sathyan has been saying it's a drama and there is no communication from the Chief Minister to Governor. That is totally
I said
misplaced
there is
argument
communication, but
because
he misquoted.
Chief Minister in his
He
letter
hits the
dated
contact.
One by one, please,
No,
sir.
don't
One by one.
misquote me. Don't
let
misquote
me
me.
complete. Let me
Don't
complete.
misquote me, Vikaraman.
Let me
I'll give
complete.
you an opportunity once he completes. Yes.
We all heard you.
Don't misquote.
We all heard you, dear brother. We all heard you.
Yeah.
That is why I'm replying. Okay. In Chief Minister's letter dated 1/6/2023, he has clearly mentioned that he has been quoting the Lily Thomas versus Union of India 2013-7 SCC 653. It's a Supreme Court judgment in which the Supreme Court has clearly said there are 3 points. In the third point, a person convicted by a court. It is only in the third category of cases that a person attracts disqualification from holding office as minister or legislator as per the judgment of the Supreme Court judgment in Lily Thomas. So this judgment quotation has been given by the Chief Minister. So he has clearly mentioned everything. He has been saying that we are not advising you on this. So what the Constitution says according to Article 164, the Chief Minister, 163, the Governor can only act on the aid and advice of the Chief Minister. So the Governor has sought some advice. The Chief Minister has given him the advice. Don't sack the Minister. That is the advice has been given by the Chief Minister. So why is this Governor acting very, in a manner which is not true to Constitution? So it is clearly shown now. The governor is
But does that justify, Mr. Vikraman, the minister not stepping down pending inquiry? Does that justify?
How many union ministers are facing criminal charges? Even Mr. Amit Shah is facing 4 criminal charges. Mr. Nitin Gadkari is facing criminal charges. Around 34 union ministers are facing criminal charges. Have they all been sacked from the cabinet? Are we demanding all that to Honorable President of this country?
Okay, respond to that please, Mr. Sathyan.
What about Rajendra Balaji?
See,
what about Rajendra Balaji? No. What
Okay,
about
please
Rajendra
respond
Balaji?
to that, Mr.
There was a
Sathyan.
charge sheet filed against him.
I'm responding.
Has he
Mr.
been
Vikaraman
sacked?
is citing Mr. Vikaraman is citing the reply of CM Stalin on June 1st. 14th June, Senthil Balaji gets arrested. On 15th June, Stalin sends a letter to Governor by not revealing the arrest of Senthil Balaji by the ED. Rather, he sends a letter that Senthil Balaji portfolio will be given to 2 other people and he will continue as the ministerial berth because of medical reasons. And governor asked him back why the arrest has not been revealed to me. This is what I'm saying. Mr. Stalin was not transparent enough of the entire things that was happening. 30 days of exchanges of communication and letters. It is the incompetence of Stalin which has led to this judicial fiasco. You have to hang your head in shame. You should have taken the moral, because while Stalin was the opposition leader, for a raid of CBI and income tax on our ministers, he demanded sacking them to the governor, then governor. He says that they should
No,
resign.
but
If they don't
demanding
resign,
1
please step
minute.
in.
I think, you know what?
Now,
I
will
think
he
we
is
are conflating the issue.
Agreed.
Every politician, every opposition demands routinely the resignation of ministers and the chief minister who is sitting in power. In every state, in every political party, across time, this happens. The question today is, can the governor step in and say, this is what I think? I'm not even, casting aspersions that that decision was politically influenced. That's something that the DMK is saying. I'm not saying that. But can they step in? Or is that the job of the courts? And then, if this person gets arrested, then, or, it's moral propriety.
Let me ask a simple question. What if the state police registers FIRs against the union ministers? Will they be asked to resign or removed by the president? What will happen to the federalism of this country if the central agencies are filing cases against the state ministers?
Okay, Mr. Selvam, is this an attack on federalism? Last word to you, Mr. Selvam. Is this an attack on federalism? Has this governor versus government
as I told you, there are cases
fight ended for now in a stalemate with this point going to Mr. Stalin?
There are cases against several ministers of all the political parties everywhere. But it's a very, very peculiar, unique case where this person, like the DMK spokesperson, said he filed a compromise memo. What memo is that? What compromise? Yes, I took money, now return the money. This is not a debt loan system. It's a system of trying to sell the government job. You have looted people's money and you have agreed to looting people's money. You have fooled people, you cheated people. So he should morally resign and the chief minister should have ensured this happens. The same chief minister went out and said he is the most corrupt man in India, not in Tamil Nadu. This is not my words. Market is the chief minister's words. He called Sendil Balaji the most corrupt man in the country. And today you celebrate him. You're celebrating him as a leader, as the face of the DMK. So that's where you've been reduced to. Let's not forget that.
I asked the DMK spokesperson why. 1 minute, Mr. Selvam, I asked the DMK spokesperson why. He said it's a precedent. Tomorrow there will be an FIR filed against anyone. Then you will say they should also step down. It's a precedent. At the end of the day,
filing an FIR is different.
Mr. Sendil Balaji is in the wrong place at the wrong time in the middle of this governor versus government war. He's just the latest reason. This is a fight that has been going on.
This is also just an FIR, nothing more. There's no charge sheet. There are a number of FIRs filed against.
We'll see what the next chapter holds,
no
but I have to wrap this conversation here. Thank you to all of you. For now, Governor Ravi has retreated. For now, Governor Ravi has retreated, but that doesn't mean the feud has ended.